I first watched A Bug's Life when I was 12 years old. In the movie, there was this one scene where Hamlet, a fat caterpillar, gets stuck in a crack. I couldn't stop laughing. Fast forward to 2 years later, this year, and I realized that this isn't the only case in which a fat character gets stuck in a small crack. And it doesn't seem so funny anymore. But if we think about it, was it ever funny? Why is it funny at all? What this scene and countless others like it perpetrates are called stereotypes. The official definition of stereotype is a widely held but fixed or oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. Stereotypes are widely held regarding physique, gender, and race. Sadly, one of the biggest reasons stereotypes still exist is because movies still use them repeatedly. Today, in my talk, I will be identifying some of the said stereotypes, which fit into one of three categories: physical, sexist, and racial. While physical stereotypes may be less discussed than racial or sexist ones, they are still there. One of the main reasons for this is because of society's perception of the ideal body. For girls, this usually means small waist, large breasts, and thinness, while for men, it usually means large muscles, a six-pack, and a generally fit body. For the ideal body image of both genders, you usually have to be above 5 feet, or 152 cm tall. For those who don't fit the ideal body image, there is no sort of jokes at their expense. Take fat people, for instance. In movies, fat people are often sold as gluttons, eating almost all the time. They are implied to be fat due to gluttony, which may not be the case at all in real life. To add insult to injury, fat people often get stuck in cracks, doors, or any other small space, like our friend Hamlet. This is often exaggerated, with many people pushing or pulling the fat person out of the small space, which makes it even more humiliating. Besides fat people, we also have stereotypes of short people. Chef Skinner from Ratatouille and Mr. Incredible's boss from The Incredibles are both comically short compared to the main characters. While both are in high career positions, they are implied to have achieved their success due to wrongdoing. Both are short-tempered and bossy. Both are very selfish and value themselves above others. And both end up like this, courtesy of the good guys. Therefore, what these portrayals are telling us is that small people are rude and insensitive. They deserve to be beaten up, and the supposedly good guys will get away with a slap on the wrist. Isn't this unfair? How can you judge people due to their height or weight or physical appearance? Because ugliness is also shown as undesirable in movies. Take Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He falls in love with a woman from the movie, but the woman falls in love with another man, Phoebus. See the sharp contrast between these two men? Quasimodo, with his hunchback and deformed face and buck teeth, is considered ugly. And Phoebus is the standard of handsome, with his golden hair and muscular body. And what people are telling little boys here is that if you want to find love, you have to be handsome. Sexist stereotypes are also very common in the media. The most common female stereotype I think is around is that of the damsel in distress. Now, we all know the story. A helpless, kind young woman gets kidnapped or enslaved by the villain and has to wait helplessly for her Prince Charming to come save her, who she then falls in love with and lives happily ever after. Nowadays, people are more aware of this stereotype, and many have criticized the Disney princesses for frequently using it. But since the last Disney princess to be a damsel in distress, it has been over 20 years. So, what I want to know now is, has the stereotype of damsel in distress died out? The answer is no. Instead of completely dying out, the damsel in distress has evolved, becoming the modern damsel in distress. Women who are more independent and often more capable, but in the end they are still captured by the villain and have to helplessly wait for their male saviors. The female leads in Wrangle and Despicable Me 2 are both perfectly capable of defending themselves, in my opinion. Yet in the end they are still captured by the villains, which makes their damsel in distress roles illogical as well as unfair, because this stereotype teaches young women that they should wait for their male saviors to come in and solve all their problems. Of course, men aren't without their stereotypes either. In many movies, men are portrayed as strong and tough, and they are also shown as suppressing signs of weakness, such as crying, which is not beneficial at all. In addition to that, the pop Disney song, "I'll Make a Man Out of You," says that men are swift, strong, forceful, and mysterious. It doesn't say anything about being kind or gentle, which I believe are very important qualities for everyone, no matter what gender you are. And therefore, these genders shouldn't have specific qualities associated with them, like many stereotypes make out. Last but not least, I have racial stereotypes. I will be focusing on two of them, Chinese and Indian. In movies, one of the stereotypes of Chinese is that they dabble in dark magic. In the movie Freaky Friday, a Chinese woman offers a woman and her daughter a fortune cookie. There are two major problems with this. Firstly, fortune cookies are an American invention. Secondly, this fortune cookie was used to harm the mother and her daughter. I can assure you that as a Chinese, we don't do these type of practices. We don't dabble in black magic. In fact, my family strongly disapproves of it. Also, in other films, Chinese are portrayed as immigrants. They speak in broken English and strong accents, and their lines are usually subtitled. This is very unfair. As you can see, I am giving a TED talk here, which completely disproves this stereotype. And Asian Americans in America, who have lived there for generations, can speak perfect English. Besides that, we also have the Indian stereotype. In the film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Prince Pondicherry is shown as stupid, as he wants a chocolate palace built, but doesn't know the climate of his own country and that his palace will eventually melt. And even though this follows the structure of events in the book, the movie changes more key aspects of the book, such as the ending and other parts. So why don't change this one? Just because something is a classical read doesn't mean it doesn't have any racism at all. As I near my conclusion, I would like the audience to keep all the stereotypes and their offenses that I've mentioned in mind. When I grow up, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to portray these people as they really are in film. But if we want to completely eradicate these types of stereotypes, we can't fully rely on the movie industry. Instead, we have to recognize stereotypes as the offensive, unfair portrayals that they are. We have to stop laughing at them. We have to stop assuming they are true. As American lawyer and movie critic Ed Koch said, stereotypes lose their power when the world is found to be more complex than the stereotype would suggest. When we learn that individuals do not fit the group stereotype, Then it begins to fall apart. Thank you.